because annotating this wasn't working, so I'm just going to talk over it. So with the power of PVA glue, I wanted to turn a used delivery box that I didn't need anymore into something I could use to encourage my rats to dig and forage for their dinner, instead of just finding it on the floor or having it in a bowl. Here I'm sketching the doorway which will lead to the bottom of the digging area. Having a doorway here was a mistake. I was using the shelves to create layers in the box. I was after a kind of vertical maze. The rats were really enthusiastic about this, and future designs will have more of this and less doorways that encourage bedding to be kicked out into the cage. To attach the shelves, I used card segments that were glued to the shelf and then glued to the box itself. This was so fiddly, and I'm sure there must be an easier way to attach the shelves to a box that doesn't hold its shape perfectly. I ended up having to use a lot of masking tape here, and weights ineffectively normally, to hold the tabs in place while they dried. Even then, some masking tape had to be left in place where I didn't trust a tab after it had dried. The shelves were able to support a leaping rat though, so I suppose it was a success. I just think that there's a better way that I could put the shelves in the future. So I actually found that the longer tab was a more secure way of me supporting a shelf within the cage. This shelf has not moved an inch since it was inside the boys' cage and they were playing on it. Now, around about this time, I started to worry that because I found it difficult to force the box to hold its shape when I was trying to fit the shelves in, that maybe it wasn't going to be very sturdy at all. My plan for the rat clubhouse was that it would actually live within the cages, so it would be a disposable enrichment toy that the rats could use and the rats could play with and they could destroy, and I would never become upset that they had torn a hole in the side of it, and I would just replace it with something different when that happened. The clothes pegs were a great way of me forcing the two sides of the cardboard to remain in contact while the PVA glue worked. The rats have always been given boxes with holes cut in the side as part of their cage enrichment, and I'd never given myself trouble with access. I was always able to either lift the box up and empty out the contents, or just open a lid to fish out a hiding ratty. It was as I was waiting for the second side of the clubhouse to adhere to its neighbour with the glue that I realised I'd just turned the dig box bottom that is, of the rat clubhouse into a fortress. The curved opening showing part of the top two levels was much more workable. I'd wanted to be able to see where the rats were or what they were up to while still giving them places to play hide and seek from me, the cats, or each other if they wanted to. And most importantly, to my ever hungry ratties, I'd plenty of access to the levels to stash food. And here I am painting the outside. And I did this on the thought of how am I going to prolong the life of the rat clubhouse. In hindsight, besides that I didn't like the look of painting the outside of the box and I will never do it again. I don't know how I got from trying to preserve the clubhouse to painting acrylic on the outside of the clubhouse, because that doesn't really prolong the life of the shelves. I am planning on redoing the rat clubhouse. Like I said, it is a prototype, I was just experimenting, and I do have Fablon, it will be on the shelves to protect it from pee, but for this I just gave it to the rats and let them go nuts on it. Ta-da! Well, we're almost done. I'm not one to just leave something looking kinda finished. So I created a balcony. I wanted to see how powerful PVA glue actually is. And I had some card lying around, so I just sketched it out and noticed that the shelf slipped a little bit. Didn't think about that. It actually held up really well, so I will do this kind of thing more often. And then, because the pegs had a box and I decided that the clothes pegs didn't need to live in a box anymore, cut some holes in it, put a little doorway on it, cut a hole in the top, stuck it down, and there we go, we have a lookout. Here we are, the rat clubhouse. I filled the bottom with some substrate and decided, let's see how the rats get on. They actually really enjoyed it, and if you do something like this, let me see and we'll share some ideas.